Picture go. Picture go. Picture go.
Uh-oh, it's replaying.
Picture go.
Uh-oh, it's replaying.
At the core, we are survivors.
All right, Manahu, everyone. My name is Bethany Sam. I'm the Public Relations Officer for Reno-Sparks Indian Colony. And if you just want to give us about a minute or so, we're going to go ahead and get started with our with Chairman's live update. Our ancestors survived new sicknesses, wars, and starvation. Now it's up to us to survive COVID-19 for our future generations. Vaccines and boosters help protect against severe illness, hospitalization, and even death. We can keep all our relations safe by getting a COVID-19 vaccine. We are asking all Native Americans to brave up and get vaccinated. Call the Reno-Sparks Tribal Health Center today. Our ancestors. Right, Manahu, Nina Bethany Sam, na Kovalweta, na Hunk Papa Dakota, na Kutzetica, na Washo, na Tsupani. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bethany Sam. I'm the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony Public Relations Officer. My tribes are Hunk Papa Dakota Sioux. I'm actually a proud enrolled member of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. I'm also Kutzetica, Paiute, Washo, and Mexican, and I'm honored to be able to do the live update today with Chairman Melendez. As usual, we're going to open with a prayer done by Chairman.
Okay. I'm going to welcome everyone to our Chairman's Facebook. We haven't had an opportunity to do this for a while since COVID started to lessen, but we thought it was best to keep you informed as far as our strategies, and with the newsletters, we've been putting some articles in there to keep you informed. But I wanted to talk to you today about some important issues. But first of all, we want to start with a prayer. I know today also they have another funeral for Gary Wayne Snooks, who is related to some of the tribal members here at Reno-Sparks Indian Colony. His mother is Adele Wasson. His father was Norman Snooks, and I believe they're having a viewing today at 3 to 7, and a funeral at the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony gym tomorrow. We want to extend our condolences to the Snooks family, and they're part of the Wallers family and Wasson. So our condolences. It's not been a day that we haven't had a prayer for somebody that's not well or somebody who has passed away. Let's just go to the Creator, to the Lord, this afternoon. Father, we thank you for this time that we could share information, and we could extend our condolences to those that have passed away. And we have remembrances of those during our powwow, and it was we still remember people that have passed away due to COVID, but just people that have passed away in general that weren't well. And so we ask that you strengthen us, and also with the some of the challenges that our tribe is facing with violence and with sickness and just about everything. We ask your blessing, and you keep us strong. And we just ask that we pray together as we face just a number of issues that we're going to inform you about today. We give thanks today, good times and bad times, and we ask your blessing in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you, Chairman Melendez. It's very much needed. All prayers are always needed. And with the things that Reno-Sparks Indian Colony has been dealing with this last week, we thought it was important to do a Facebook Live to the community, just giving you an update on everything that's going on with our law enforcement, to COVID numbers and things like that. And so, Chairman, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I know we have a lot of updates in a short amount of time, so I'll go ahead and turn it over to you. Thank you.
Okay. Is our video coming in, Bethany? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I want to again thank everybody for tuning in on such a short notice, but we thought it was very important that we talk to you this week and on some issues. One of the things we wanted to kind of update you is that some good things and bad things. As far as the COVID cases, this morning, we only have 3 here at both downtown and Hungry Valley. So that's pretty good news. We've been having low cases for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So that's good. And so I think that the vaccines and the boosters and all those different things are working really good. As you know, the second boosters were given to elders and also people with underlying health conditions. And I think that really helped with the recovery. People didn't get as sick, and they didn't really get hospitalized, the majority of the people. So that's for people that haven't received their second booster. I think maybe this fall they might be able to get their second booster for those that are younger and don't have underlying health conditions. So we're hoping that will happen. We also have made some COVID changes as far as lessening restrictions to wearing masks, and the mask mandate has been lifted for most RSIC buildings. And the mask mandates are still in effect at the Reno-Sparks Tribal Health Center, Child Care, Head Start, and unvaccinated employees. And there's no screening also set up at our, at 34 and at the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony Health Center. So we've kind of lessened those restrictions. but we still have personal responsibility to make sure that if you go out to Walmart or where you congregate with large crowds, that if you have underlying health conditions, it might be good to wear your mask, especially for our elders and, at the powwow or wherever, or, things are happening. I believe this weekend they're having a Pine Nut Festival in Schurz, Nevada. That's starting this week too. I know a number of people may be going there. So as far as the moving along, quarantine guidelines have changed. CDC guidance no longer requires a quarantine period for unvaccinated individuals who have been exposed to COVID. Rather, that these employees would wear a high-level KN95 mask for 10 days and get tested on day 5. As such, COVID quarantine will no longer be required, and symptomatic employees should continue to use their sick leave hours as appropriate. For COVID positive individuals, CDC does recommend an isolation period of 5 calendar days and to wear a high-level KN95 mask through day 10, especially when around others or in public. If a positive case results in extended illness, the isolation period may extend to 10 days or even longer. We encourage all employees to stay up to date on the COVID-19 vaccinations and our boosters. So that's good news as far as lessening restrictions, and also that our cases are down, and we hope that hopefully that it stays that way. We're experiencing some issues that the Tribal Council wanted me to really talk to you about. We had a letter that'll be coming out that I want to read to you, and it has to do with the violence that we're experiencing both downtown and in Hungry Valley. It's kind of gotten out of hand with the police trying to address those issues, and we have a very limited number of staff on our police force. We're trying to hire, and it's been a challenge. But in the middle of that, we have all these different incidents that are happening. This letter I'll be sending out today is to the community, and I'll read it to you. It says, the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony has seen dramatic increases in violence in the recent months. This is very disturbing, and I know extremely troubling in both Hungry Valley and the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony communities. I want to address this important issue and let the people know what the Reno-Sparks Tribal Council is doing to address it. The Tribal Council was briefed by our acting Chief of Police, Joel Zuniga, the other day about the recent violent incidents. We feel it's important to get as much information about the incidents and to determine the best course of action. These most recent incidents involve weapons and physical violence that was perpetrated on RSIC tribal members. It is my understanding that both youth and adults were involved in the Hungry Valley incidents. This is unacceptable. The RSIC tribal police are working with federal officials to investigate and hopefully prosecute the cases at the federal level. However, the RSIC has the inherent authority as a separate sovereign to prosecute the criminal cases in the RSIC tribal court, and it's imperative that that happens. The RSIC Tribal Council is also considering what other actions are available to them to stem the violence and restore a safer community for the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony. The Reno-Sparks Indian Colony Law and Order Code provides the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony with laws to prosecute both adults and juveniles for violent crimes. There are laws available to hold parents accountable for both their children's actions and safety. The Reno-Sparks Indian Colony Tribal Council has directed staff to research updating the curfew law by an RSIC resolution. We will then instruct the Reno-Sparks Indian Colony Tribal Police to strictly enforce it. If there are individuals who insist on disturbing the peace of the of the RSIC communities perpetuating violence and knowingly and repeatedly violating the colony ordinances, rules, and regulations, the RSIC Tribal Council will begin the process to exclude them from the reservation or even disenroll them, which is in our ordinance. Holding offenders accountable is the beginning of restoring law and order. Some of the other proposed actions may seem more drastic, but the safety of our communities, for our families, our children, and our elders is of the utmost importance. And so this is a letter I'm sending out to all of our households this afternoon. But, the challenges that we do have is that to prosecute federally with the FBI, it's always been a challenge in Indian country as to getting the federal agencies to move quickly. And as you know, to investigate, it just takes a long time. And so the idea of moving faster through the tribal court, though we're limited to, 365 days or something in jail as the extreme, as the most you can do, where the feds can put you in prison or, take it even further. It's faster through our tribal court. So that's a concurrent jurisdiction that we may have that we're trying to do. We are Tuesday, we're hiring a new prosecutor. And so hopefully we can start moving those cases through. And then we need to actually still have an investigator in our tribal police force, which we're looking at too, and see if we can move this faster. And the reluctance of people to come forth and even to tell the police about what happened is another hindrance, is why we can't really move really quick. If nobody says anything about what has occurred, then the police are pretty well handicapped as taking any information that's prosecutable, so that's the other challenge we have when nobody really says anything. Even the victims themselves sometimes don't really will tell the police what actually happened, or who assaulted me, or who stabbed me, or who shot at me, or whatever it may be. You get that reluctance from people that are involved or the victims, and they don't say anything. Well, it's really difficult for our police to get valid information that they can use. So you can see, the responsibility of the community to come forth as a witness is always a hindrance when they don't do that. So we can't totally blame the police when nobody really says anything. So I'm just letting you know that that's some of the challenges that we're facing as they're still trying to gain information of some of the incidents that have recently happened. But we have to do something about this, because it's just it'll get worse if we don't do anything. People will think they can get away with anything on assaulting people or using knives or guns or whatever it may be, and then we will have somebody die, because of violence. And so I just wanted to let you know that we're looking at all areas. The tribal council takes this very seriously, and we're meeting on this to try to see what we can do by the law. But then the other question is, there has to be some intervention too along with this. Parent responsibility is the biggest thing. We can't have kids that are in homes where there's no supervision at all, and they invite their friends in and the parents don't even know, or the parents are not even there, so that's not going to work either. So we're trying to identify some of these homes that are irresponsible in being a homeowner and having a family in these homes, and not really taking responsibility. That's even our vision that's up on the wall here, to promote personal responsibility and family responsibility, which is not happening in some of the cases that we're seeing here. And so, if these young people, teenagers, get on the wrong path because of lack of intervention by parents or whatever it is, then we're going to have to determine how do we try to intervene in the lives of some of these young people to try to steer them in a good direction. Otherwise, they'll end up in prison, really. And so, it's a concern to all of us. And we're going to be working on that, whether or not it comes out to be a task force that really addresses this, because then there's alcohol and drugs and all those secondary catalysts that come into play also, people partying and all the things that happen, out in people's houses and out in their yards and all this stuff, so we have to be a little more strict on what's happening in and around these homes out in Hungry Valley and downtown Colony. So I just wanted to kind of let you know it's a big concern to all of us, and so we're hoping we can work on this with our police and through our court system, and try to make sure we have a juvenile probation officer, or those positions that we seem to don't have. And so I just wanted to kind of let you know the council is really concerned about this whole situation. So anyway, that's I wanted to kind of let you know that, and so we'll be working on that as a priority. Moving along on other updated information on some good news, we finally settled an agreement with the state of Nevada on the cannabis. It was the state would allow us to issue a metric number, which is needed before you can operate a dispensary. And they were holding the metric number on Verdi unless we agreed to not to do cannabis on other properties that we own, like across from the Grand Sierra. And they were stipulating that there's state law that says you can't be within 1,500 feet of a casino. And so, the tribe didn't want to agree to do prohibiting dispensaries on any of our other properties, just to open Verdi. So we kind of stood really a hard line on our position, and then they stood hard line to the cannabis board that they have. That's a new board, but basically they're pretty adamant on their stance, their compliance board that used to be under taxation of the state, but it moved to a board that's similar to the gaming control board. And so they're challenging to deal with those guys. But we had to actually call the governor and get him to intervene or to really talk to them. And that's what we kind of did. And that kind of moved it a little bit so that it was a favorable decision to that. And basically what it comes down to is that we're not going to deal with the properties across from the Grand Sierra. We'll deal with them when we come to them, kind of kicking the can down the road on those properties according to the agreement. So it doesn't have anything to do with opening Verdi. So I'll be meeting with the Colony Enterprise Authority, which is a CEA, and the Three Nations Management Corporation, which is the board that oversees the dispensaries. So we'll be meeting with them next week to see to talk about opening a Verdi. But we want to make sure that we're operating well at South Virginia before we open Verdi, because you don't want a double headache if you're not, if you still have some issues to work out on South Virginia. We sure don't want to open another store and we still have problems at the other one. And so, and that's what that meeting will be about, is, we want to make sure that everything's going to run perfectly as far as inventory and just about accountability and centralized management and all that stuff. So I just kind of wanted to let you know we did resolve this issue with the state, and we are, we can open if we want to. And then moving along to other information, you've seen some comprehensive planning information come out from our planning department. Also, our strategic planning, they're sending out some surveys, and I hope that you will fill those out, because they're important with the information that'll help direct the tribe into putting resources or housing or whatever those surveys say on housing, or just the general surveys on information on employment or whatever it may be. We need that information to go into our comprehensive plans. And then, so that's just something that we're working on. We're also still involved with the Thacker Pass litigation on the lithium mining issue. We are still awaiting some decisions by the judge, according to Will Falk, our Thacker Pass or our mining attorney that's kind of working on the litigation there. The massacre issue has come to the forefront, meaning that the BLM has finally acknowledged that a massacre did take place there, but they're trying to limit the amount of area that should be surveyed and looked into, and to really survey and do all the things that are required to make sure that they don't disturb those areas. But so that's something that's it's almost like the Sand Creek or Sand Pass, massacre in Colorado, where Native Americans were massacred there. So it's in the same light that, some people have said it's just as important as to that massacre in Colorado. And so we'll be working and trying to get the BLM to do more than they are right now, even though it's kind of after the fact. They should have did it right in the first place, So that's something we're working on yet. We were in a meeting, Michonne, Eve and I traveled up to Elko just Monday and Tuesday to attend a meeting where some of the eastern tribes, the Western Shoshone, are looking at trying to gain mining tax money from lithium and all those different people that are mining. The position from the tribes is that they've taken so much gold. Nevada was the fourth largest gold producer in the world, and all that money came out and the tribes didn't get anything out of it. And it was on their historical Aboriginal land. And so it's the same idea with lithium. They'll get millions of dollars. The tribes won't see a penny. So they want to see if they can get mining tax money off of that, like the state of Nevada does. I don't know, that's a state legislature issue, because I'm sure the state of Nevada wants to get as much money from lithium through taxation also. So we may be competing against the state of Nevada, but whether or not they would agree that the tribes deserve a certain amount of the tax. But it means, Michonne, Eben, and myself spoke there at Elko, and we said, even though we might agree to accept money on taxation, mining tax, that doesn't preclude us from litigating certain circumstances if we think they've desecrated or didn't follow consultation processes through the BLM. We would litigate. So we let the tribes know that it's not going to preclude us or limit us from of suing them should they do anything detrimental. So we talked about that a little bit up there. It's a good presentation on treaty rights and all that other stuff, that's important too. But anyway, we're going to continue trying to assist with the Thacker Pass litigation. The Namaga powwow was a huge success. I want to give congrats to all our departments, the powwow committee, and just everyone that really helped that powwow really did well. I thought with the amount of people that basically that participated, and all the different people that came from Canada, as far away from Canada, and some of the MCs and arena directors and all those people that came from different states. But I thought it went really well with all the vendors that were out there. And so we want to thank everybody. We also want to congratulations to one of our small businesses, Star Village Coffee, which we went to some fundraisers that they had there. They've been a forum for gatherings for even some political people that have come, that are on the campaign trail through the state, and some people running for Congress that have gathered at Star Village Coffee Shop there. If you haven't visited it, it's on Mill Street, just after you get past Wells, or I think it's on the left-hand side going towards downtown. So Joel Zuniga and his family and his brothers, they done an excellent job. So we went out there and really want to congratulate them for really, fostering small business owners on reservations. And then, so those are just some of the issues that we've been working on. I'm going to let Bethany tell you, and we have a real concern about the air quality, as you know, with the fires, and that can be detrimental to your health. So I'll turn it over to Bethany to talk a little bit about the air quality issue.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. We do want to talk to you a little bit about the air quality as it is going to be or forecasted to be in the unhealthy range. So the air quality in Reno-Sparks and Hungry Valley will continue to be in the unhealthy range. Due to the unhealthy air quality, we are suggesting everyone stay indoors, especially children, asthmatics, and persons with lung or heart conditions to stay indoors. And I just wanted to mention that we do have some new air sensors or air quality sensors in Hungry Valley and right here at the Reno Colony off of Prosperity Street. And so if you go to www.map.purpleair.com, you'll be able to see those air sensors directly in our community. And I'll actually share my screen so you could see what it looks like. And as you can see, we are in Hungry Valley, we're at a level of 177. And if we were to zoom in on the Reno area, and we find Kidski and Mill, if it'll work with me here, you can see, if we zoom in just a tiny bit more here, you can see that the Reno Colony is at 173 here. So this is another way that you can check on the air quality and see how you'll be affected in your area. And we want to thank Washoe County Health District for helping us get those in. So be safe on your air quality, stay indoors, wear a mask if you need to, but we're doing our best to stay within the guidelines of or following what Washoe County Health District is doing. We also wanted to mention that the Senior Fun Day is next week. On the 21st, which is next Wednesday, they're going to have Ping Pao Poom snow cones, Hawaiian dancers, a lot of informational booths for our seniors, our elders. And so don't forget about that next Wednesday. And then also on Friday, the 23rd is Native American Day. There will be a Native Day Pride March on Friday our registration will start at 4:00 right here at the Reno Colony. They'll have Native Day t-shirts and a glam photo booth. And so there'll be a lot of fun things going on there. So don't forget about that on Friday. We also just wanted to remind you that our vaccine ad campaign is moving forward again. You'll be seeing Chairman and all of RSIC's advertising campaigns on TV and radio and things like that. We got a lot of things going on with voting. Even we had Senator Cortez Masto here a couple weeks ago meeting with tribal leaders and actually ate some Indian tacos with us. So that was pretty awesome. But we wanted to remind you that voting, we need all of our tribal members to register to vote. There is a National Register Voting Day next week, and we're going to have the Native Voters Alliance here next week. So we'll be sending out some more information on that. But Halloween's coming up. There's a bunch of holiday events that are coming. And so we'll make sure to do some more Facebook Lives, but also get that information to you by courier and the newsletter. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. If you're going to Pine Nut Festival, be safe, watch for the air quality. And that's all I had, Chairman. If you had anything else to add.
Okay, thank you, Bethany. You want to thank also our students and for their dedication and effort to get their education. I know we just started school again. We also are working on the Head Start issue. You know, I know there were a number of community people that were concerned because we lost a number of staff there. So we're trying to hire as fast as we can. And also, you know, we do exit interviews with people who do leave, but not all of them are leaving because they're dissatisfied. Some do sometimes, but some have other opportunities, that they have too. And there's a number of reasons. So, but we made some changes there, and hopefully we want to thank our education director who's holding the fort down till we can hire a director and fill some of the positions. So I just wanted to let you know that the council was very concerned about that, and we met on Head Start issues, and with the air quality and all that stuff too. We had to address whether or not they should stay open or not, and so there's a number of things that are happening there. So I just wanted to assure you that we are working on those educational issues. So with that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll come back again within maybe every other week and update you on what's happening with the RSIC. So thank you again for tuning in, and have a good weekend this week. So thank you, Bethany.
Thank you, Chairman Melendez. Always great updates as usual. I know we're getting a lot of comments about what's going on or what is law enforcement doing and things like that. So what we can tell you is that, the investigation is ongoing. And if you, like Chairman stated, we are having some issues finding or getting that information to our tribal police. If you want or any information, you can also call Secret Witness at 775-322-4900. And so, the more statements that they can get, the more that information that they find, and the more that our tribal police can do to help keep our community safe. So we urge you to call that number if you know anything. And with that, great update, a lot of things going on. We just want to keep our morale up and keep positive. So we hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bonitawa.